Before you take the time to start developing lessons for your online C3 courses, we want you to take a moment and think about what makes a good online lesson. This video is going to showcase 6 general ideas to consider when you're going through and making these lessons. The first component that makes a good online lesson is the ease of navigation. We're trying to keep our courses consistent so that way students can easily find where they need to be, and then once they get into that lesson, they should be able to quickly navigate through that lesson. Part of this is also going to go along with our LFS framework for lessons. We're going to try to model where we start the students out with an introduction that has their essential questions. There's going to be some sort of activating strategy tied to that lesson. And then it's going to go into the instructional strategies that you can use to both give the content to the students and then assess them to make sure they're understanding that content. The next component that makes a good lesson online is clear instructions. Now this is going to look a little bit different than you may have to do when you're teaching in person. When you're in person, you're able to give all sorts of verbal and visual cues for what students should be doing. In an online course, we need to be very explicit in how we give the instructions to the students, whether they're through text, whether they are through a video instruction that is attached to a page where there's some sort of assignment or task to be completed. We just need to really rethink how we do instructions so that way the students really know what they're supposed to be doing. The next component is just making sure that our content is aligned to our curriculum. It's really easy when you're looking at online tools to find really cool things, but at the same time, we want to just make sure that we're following our same curriculum that our students are taking in person. So we're going to just take time as we're developing our lessons to make sure that we're breaking up our content and we're keeping it related to the curriculum that we're assigned to. The next component that makes a good online lesson is the engagement. So it's very difficult sometimes to think how we can think outside the box and bring the content to life for our students. Luckily, we have a lot of cool online tools at our hands that we're going to try to use to make it engaging. We have this new tool called H5P that will help you break up your lesson into separate pages and even have the ability to have some interactive questions built into the learning components. We have a lot of other tools available that may offer some free games or other things where students can actively participate in their learning and they're not just staring at their screen passively for the whole day. So we're going to just try to bring that engagement to the students and rethink how we can look at some traditional types of assignments and things to bring it to life for the kids. The next one is purposeful assessment. So another thing that we need to consider is how we're going to assess students online. This is very different from how we assess students in person, and we just want to be purposeful with how we're doing this, so we're not giving the students busy work, but we're using it to truly assess if the students are really understanding the content and then giving them feedback that they can use to help them move along in their coursework as well. So we just want to be purposeful in how we assign assessments and other tasks for the students to be able to do. And then finally, just the opportunities for personalization. This is not going to take place necessarily in every lesson or for every activity, but ideally we will get to a point where students will have some choice in how they choose to complete tasks. With them doing the C3 program, they already have the flexibility to choose when they want to learn. We could also begin to provide them opportunities for how they show what they learn and give them different choices for tasks and projects and things like that. So these are just some things to consider as you're beginning your lesson building and looking at the components that we're going to throw into our lessons.